What's up, guys? It's your boy Zowoki back out with another Chris Watts and Nichol Kessinger video. And holy crap, I don't know what it is, guys, but you've been blowing up my Instagram and my Facebook feed with this YouTube channel and video that just popped up. The Black Cauldron. And you guys are like, you need to watch this like yesterday. I'm like, oh, okay. That's all I know. And all the title says is the Watts home is haunted and Nichol Kessinger is guilty. Tell me something I don't know. But this lady has a little bit you guys just have been demanding. You guys are like, oh my gosh. I mean, I could read the messages and they're literally been like going off on me saying you need to watch this like right now. I'm watching it, okay? Grab a chair, get comfortable. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel by hitting that white icon that says subscribe. Hit the bell icon that's next to it. When I do post videos like this one, you guys will get that little ring notification that I posted that video, and then you guys can watch, comment, like, and share. And again, thank you guys so very much for the love and support that you guys show me. Show that same love over at this lady, the Black Cauldron. And let's get into it, shall we?
Nichol Kessinger, in my opinion only, allegedly, all of this means nothing because she's never been charged. None of that. Like,
I love this woman's facial expression, and we've only been 12 seconds into it. Her facial expressions are fantastic.
Let me just say, all of what I'm about to say is allegedly. She's never been charged. And this is just an opinion, and opinions is like asses. Everybody got them. But Nichol Kessinger,
girl, bougie,
should have been charged right along with Chris Watts, allegedly. Can we talk about my very first video about the Watts family murder?
Say it loud, girl.
How that house is haunted. How that lady helped him do it. Let's talk about it.
I love this woman already. And we're definitely a little nervous here. Subscribe. Give her love.
Welcome back, YouTube. And for those who do not know me, hello, my name is Noah, and on this channel we talk about death, true crimes, haunted people, places, and things, spiritual reparations, and how you can fuck around and find out. Nichol, Chris, how y'all can fuck around and find out. And if you're not subscribed here, make sure you're subscribed. If you're not following me over on any of my other platforms such as TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Lemonade, Threads, follow me there as well. So I decided to take y'all down a little trip on memory lane, especially my OGs. Shout out to my old fucking G's, okay? Because this case, this whole thing was one of my first YouTube videos. It is the Chris Watts family murder case. And I'm one of those super blessed people that this video went viral. Shout out to everybody that watched my very first video because
it was my third.
It meant a lot to me because, no, it might have been my second. Now that I think about it, but it doesn't matter. It was one of the first 5 videos that I posted on this channel, and it earned me that real quick because this was such a horrific crime.
But it was also, I feel, her attitude and her charisma. I get a sense of a very professional. I don't want to say aggressive because she's bougie. She's not gonna let stuff is going to stop her.
It was disgusting. I'm still disgusted.
Me too, girl. Me too.
So if you don't know what the Chris Watts family murders is, it is a man who lived in Colorado. and decided one day that he didn't want to be a father or a husband and murdered his pregnant wife and their 2 children.
This
Little
girl is
babies.
the OG.
All of them. From the baby that was inside Shanann to Cece and Bella. He did not want to be a father, right? And so we focused primarily on Chris Watts and his shenanigans because we weren't going to even put that on Cece, Bella, Nico, Shanann. But he also had a mistress, and I truly believe that his mistress got away with murder. I believe after I've done the research that I've done and watched the TikToks that I've watched, people that are deeper into the Chris Watts algorithm than I am, that he had help. He had help. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to be watching some viral TikToks. As always, I will be tagging the creator down below. Again, everything that's put into this TikTok, everything that's put into this YouTube video is alleged. It's allegedly.
We got to say that because we can't say it's fact
Nichol
yet.
Has been cleared. So I have to say, allegedly.
I don't think she's been cleared. She's just been protected.
Even if it's not my video, I have to take that responsibility because we don't know anything.
We don't.
So everything that has...
But all our alleged opinions sure do show that she is guilty of something in the case.
Do with Nichol Kessinger, whatever her name is alleged. It's just pop culture. It is just a rumor. It's not confirmed. It's just not. But again, if you love the creator, go ahead and leave them a follow. Before we even get into it, shout out to y'all that got y'all readings from Psychic Source. Psychic Source is the oldest, the biggest, the largest psychic network that has ever existed. Okay? They're really good with ancestral reads, future, love, money reads. So if you have not gotten your reading, I am partnered with them. If you click the link down below, you'll get up to 40 minutes for $19.80. That's less than a DoorDash for food. Get your reading. And thank you to all y'all who have gotten your reading.
For me,
we're going to be watching some TikToks. I'm going to put them in like consecutively, one after the other, because I'm going to come back and speak Japanese.
Japanese?
I'm pissed. I feel offended that, yeah, allegedly she was involved in this, and allegedly she's still running around here doing what she do best, which is being free. And I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Me neither.
Just look.
Chris Watts is being haunted by his family in his prison cell. Chris Watts has said that specifically the ghost of his daughter Cece has visited his cell. In the words of Chris Watts, "I'm not sure if this was a spiritual visit, but I had a dream. Cece was dancing next to the chair and myself. When she was dancing, one of my folders on the chair started moving, and I thought she was in trouble. So I said,
it was probably the air that was getting turned on in the facility.
watch out, get away, watch out. Then I woke up. I'm hoping she comes back. I hope everyone comes to visit me. I'm trying to see if I can clear my head better before I go to sleep to help." Given what we now know about Chris holding on to one of Cece's books in his prison cell, this actually does not surprise me. However, I think he might be a little confused. It's surprising that Chris wants his family to visit him in his prison cell because I don't think
he's got their damn picture on the wall. That's what's stupid. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt and let him have his victims on the wall.
He realizes the ferocity with which they might visit. I don't think that they would be happy to see him, and I think that karma knows no bounds, not even the end of life. As Chris lays in bed at night, he has only himself to answer to for what he has done. He lives with what he's done. He lives with what he's seen. And now he gets to live with the ghost of his family haunting him.
Nichol Kessinger was talking to Chris Watts for 111 minutes the night that his family was annihilated.
And both of them don't know jack crap
He cannot remember anything about that conversation. Yeah, right. Chris Watts and Nichol Kessinger had a 111-minute conversation on the very night that he annihilated his family. Now, when asked about it, Nichol Kessinger could not remember a single thing they talked about, even though we're talking almost 2 hours here. Now, she told police that while they were talking, she said that she could hear a TV, even though he was telling her that he was sleeping in a bed in the basement, which we know he most likely was. However,
But there is no TV down there.
could hear a TV on, and she knew there was no TV in the basement, so she was confused. That is a very specific detail to remember.
But that also implicates that she knows that she said that there's no TV downstairs. So that even shows that she was down there again, because she just told the officer that she was just in the front doorway, and then it became upstairs, and then it was down in the basement. It's unraveling the more that we listen over and over and over. It paints a whole different picture of her involvement.
But she can't remember a single thing they talked about for almost 2 hours on the phone. What does she have, selective amnesia? Chris and Nichol Kessinger were talking on the phone constantly. These two were really in communication all day long, whether that was text or actual phone calls. We know this because not only were there tons of conversation between them in his phone text, but he had the secret calculator app where he was also communicating with her.
WhatsApp, Skype, Facebook.
And then the day that everything went down, they did not speak a single word. She didn't even try to get a hold of him to speak to him. Wouldn't she have thought that everything was normal and been reaching out at least, even if he wasn't answering? Is Chris Watts carrying Nichol Kessinger on his back the morning that he annihilated his family? Pretty much everybody in the world has seen this video of Chris Watts going back and forth from his garage to his truck the morning that he attacked his family.
Just think if we had these vehicles inside the van, or not the van, these vehicles inside the garage and that bush out of the way, just think of what we could have seen.
Now, as we all know, this was a huge part because during this time, he actually had to transfer his wife over to the truck as well as his two daughters. I have watched this video hundreds of times and I cannot get this image out of my head. Like, I think there's actually something to this, you guys. We all know that Chris Watts was confronted by his neighbor with that video of the surveillance footage from his garage. Now, Chris was obviously sweating bullets during this time, and we all assume that is because this is when he transferred his wife from the home to the truck. But maybe he was nervous because of something else or someone else. Was he carrying Nichol Kessinger? He could have easily have thought that the only way anybody could see anything was the feet moving under the truck. And thus, if he picked her up, no feet, no other person. I really, really struggle to think that this man commit this crime on his own.
Right.
I've said over and over again, what could Chris Watts have possibly have thought would happen after he did what he did? People would just move on. Nothing would happen.
Or he didn't think he was going to share in the punishment.
He would get away with this forever. Did he really think that would happen without even confirming with Nichol?
Or he didn't think he was going to have to go in this punishment alone. It was going to be a duo punishment, and instead it became a solo punishment.
That if he did this, she would be with him, that she wasn't even on board with this. This image really, it just lives 100% rent-free in my head, day and night, all the time. See it in my sleep.
Y'all, the chills this gave me down my spine. So I saw this footage and it was enhanced, sharpened quality. Somebody took the security footage from the morning of the unalivings of Bella, Shanann, and Cece, right? That is not Chris Watts. And this person was seen leaving after Chris Watts had already loaded everything up. I'm telling you, I believe Nichol Kessinger came to that house. That's why her phone pinged her that morning. She helped him with what he did, showed up at his house, and then probably drove with him to the site as well. Because nobody has caught him.
And all of this evidence, the people that did this case are like, don't look. Don't worry about it. It's all your imagination. And we're like, no.
On camera driving to the site, by the way. So they might have took a route different than normal. Who knows? But this is not him. The boots, the frame, the build, that is not him. That is a woman's body. That looks like a woman's figure. Chris went out before her, and then she went, and this is all that's confirming the new confession and everything like that. He said that he called her that morning, and she said she would help him.
Do you think Nichol Kessinger was involved with what Chris Watts did? Y'all leave a comment, let me know, and take a listen to this video because this detective certainly has some questions. Watch this.
Reading through the discovery of this case was not easy. Now, while I have learned how to deal with reading through autopsy reports and statements that are incredibly difficult to comprehend as a father, for me, the most impactful part of the entire discovery file was Detective Michael Prill's data report. Throughout the entire analysis, you could tell that he was deeply perturbed by Nichol's actions.
Yeah, she didn't have to answer for that. Why did she Google them a year before? Why were they talking and sharing photos when they weren't that serious? Like, Nichol, why is this? Why is that? None of that was answered. She talks about condoms. She talks about her times that she wants alone. She found the spot. She knows everything about Chris. But yet, when asked about the important questions like this, she shuts down and gets very aggressive.
He went out of his way to describe Nichol's disturbing and creepy affect, giggle. Never failing to point out how off-putting her voicemails were. Throughout the entire report, you can see his clear efforts to try and bring attention to the problems that he saw within the records, going out of his way to write detailed notations concerning Nichol's deletion of critical evidence. But it was what he wrote concerning his review of Shanann's text messages that absolutely broke my heart. And what he wrote is my inspiration and reason.
Addie told the group the police need to look at Chris's cell and computer. Shanann's phone soon explodes with anxious messages of concern from friends and family across the nation. As soon or after noon moved into evening, the messages became guilt-wrenching pleas to hear from Shanann, sending her prayers, hope and their love.
For why I wanted to bring these issues to light. Because Shanann was so much more than the wife of Chris Watts.
Yes.
She was Cece, Bella, and Nico's mother. And everyone who knew her said that she was the best mother any child could ever want.
And when they should be going after Nichol for her possible involvement, they go after her and say she was the bad mom. She deserved this. How do you make that make sense? Absolutely freaking not. I still, like, I've tried to be dumb for a little bit and I'm like, nope, I can't understand this at all. How do you explain or state that this woman was not involved and then blame Shanann for the murders happening because she was overbearing and she was too much of a leader, go-getter woman? Like, let her slay. If she wants to do it, have at it. Why is it a big, like, so many people are so into how somebody else is acting when they don't even worry about themselves and how they act? Look at yourself rather than other people.
Boy, play, girls, win.
You're so smart. What's your say, Cece?
I'm hungry.
Diva,
Princess,
princess,
mini boss, rock star, multitask. Good job.
She was a daughter, a sister, and a beacon of love, light, and joy to her hundreds of friends. And
that's what upsets me is those little girls deserve to be here. They deserve to be, what now, 8 years and they were 4. so 12 years old. And then you got CC being 3, another 8, 11 years, 11 and 12. My kids' age. My kids are 13, will be 14, and now 15. And I just look at them and I'm just, the difference they are from when they're little to when they are now. It's been an honor to watch them grow. And I love them so dearly, watching them go from the little person that they were, that I created and my fiance created, that God gave us, and then to watch them learn and love and have their fights. It's just interesting, so interesting watching this little person that you created grow into an adult. I haven't gotten to the adult phase, but it's just, I find it fascinating. I find it loving and nurturing, and just love to see our children go from their smallness to their full capabilities. And then you sit there and be like, I'm so proud. I just, maybe I'm getting a little too sentimental here, but it really bothers me that these girls' lives, where they could have shown who they could have been. They both were very smart girls. They could have definitely walked in the same footsteps of their mother in the work and the drive and the fight. But unfortunately, this guy wanted to get his jollies off with a new woman. And that's the reason why he stopped it. That's where it bothers me, and that's why I continue doing this, because somebody else deserves that held accountability and to be sharing in this crime.
Family who love, admire, and miss her dearly. And it's why when I read these words, I sat at my desk and just broke down. As news broke of his confession and arrest, Shanann's phone received desperate messages from friends and loved ones like Addie. I need you here.
Need you here. I want you. You were literally my right hand. I can't do this without you.
I want you to know you were literally my right hand, and I can't do this without you. The loss of Shanann and her children was something that so many of us felt and grieved, because we could see ourselves in the eyes of the Rooschecks as they poured their hearts out during sentencing.
And yet they're made fun of. Make that make sense. There's people out there that sit behind their computers, laugh and enjoy the pain and suffering of others. They don't care. They don't care where they go. They don't care what they do. They don't care as long as it pleases them. And yet they sit there and mock Frank Sr., Frank Jr., because of things that they did in their past. Guarantee you would have done things in your past that you're not proud of. And yet you're judging on this family when you have no idea. I don't either. When it comes to me talking about the Watts family, I could be completely wrong. But again, I'm a reaction commentary channel where we watch, we react, and we give our 2 cents. I'm not saying that my 2 cents is factual. It's all alleged. But for them to sit there and go off and say that Shanann's death was caused because of herself, or that it was caused because there's a death hit from the mother, you have no evidence. There is more evidence on NK than you think you have with blaming Shanann. And yet you don't go after Shanann or Nichol. You just shame Shanann because she deserved it, apparently. Make sense. You can't.
And it's why the truth still matters in this case, now more than ever. Because while we can't bring back Shanann, Bella, Cece, and Nico, we can honor them and remind the world that on the 5-year anniversary of their passing,
and I'm definitely going to fight for people that don't deserve the ridicule,
they will be remembered, and we will honor them as we continue to advocate for justice.
Amen.
This
brother.
report had Chris Watts freaking out. You guys watch this video.
Detective Prill's report was issued on Tuesday, October 30th.
And there's so many things in these body cams and the interrogations that you hear and see, and you're just like, what are we doing here? Like, this doesn't make sense. That was done wrong. And the professionals have even told me that things were done wrong.
2018, and a copy was sent to the Weld County District Attorney's Office. From that moment, the report became a ticking time bomb that's information would explode upon reading, but only in the hands of its final recipient. And I believe that what happened in the days and hours following the publishing of that report that completely altered the entire trajectory of the Chris Watts case for good. In the criminal justice system, discovery is often issued in triplicate: a copy for the clerk, a copy for the judge, and a copy for the defense. Due to the requirements of mandatory disclosure rules, all supplemental reports, including this one, are required to be shared with defense counsel. And it's commonplace that once defense counsel receives any new discovery, that a copy of that discovery is then shared with the defendant. It's my experience that this process usually takes a few days to get from the hands of the district attorney to the court, from the court to defense counsel, from defense counsel to the jail, and then finally into the hands of the defendant, Chris Watts. I would venture a guess that by
Probably
Friday
reads
the
it every
2nd
day.
of November, Chris Watts likely received a copy of this report. The report was brought to his cell, where he opened it and then carefully and methodically read each page. I imagine that he felt the same panic that we all witnessed from him as he stood there watching his neighbor's security
This is his balls have shriveled up into a stomach type of freak out.
camera footage the afternoon of
You are not coughing on that one because there's nothing to grab. It's right back up in there because of how freaked out he was.
August 13th, 2018. I envisioned that as he read Detective Prill's notes, he realized that someone within law enforcement was no longer buying the mountain of BS that Nichol had been selling the entire time. And that he realized someone had finally been able to see through the murky lies that Nichol had so carelessly spun over those many weeks. And I imagined that after he read that report, he knew exactly what he needed to do. The only thing for a coward like him left to do. Because exactly 1 week after Detective Prill's report was issued, Chris Watts accepted a plea deal that would
Again, stop giving these mother effers freaking plea deals if there's nothing to get. Like, plea deal for what? We knew where they were. He's never given us a motive. So what are we giving him a flippin' effing plea deal for? Oh, because you think you're going to give him death? The man was going to live probably 15, 18, 20 years before death even came. So, and they abolished the freaking death penalty anyways. I'm glad that he's not dead. I'm glad that he is suffering right now and he's worrying about what's going to happen beyond. But then what pisses me off too is they're allowing him to kiss and hold his girlfriend's hands and stuff like that. Oh, they're human. Okay, but they took human life. Where does that line stop where we should be punishing them, not giving them rehabilitation? If they're not going to get out, lock away or lock them away, throw the key away.
completely stopped the investigation into his horrific crimes. An act that he knew would slam the door shut on law enforcement's investigation and end any further need for Nichol Kessinger to continue to lie.
Nichol Kessinger's mugshot. Y'all, she was arrested back in 2006. Watch this video.
Since I began my research on the Watts case, I was able to conduct my own independent investigation into Nichol Kessinger.
I can't wait for the Criminal Minds. He's got a friend that's going to be with the DA or run for the DA position, and I am definitely going to be helping any way I can.
And what I found in the publicly available court records revealed that she was arrested on December 9th, 2006. You will notice that the arrest was for underage possession and consumption of alcohol. Certainly not the crime of the century. But what I thought was incredibly odd was that this was her second offense. And at the time, she was only 19 years old. But somehow, even though she had
Mackenzie Shrilla Mark 1.
already received her second charge for underage drinking, her case was completely dismissed. Now, I have been in contact with an anonymous source who provided additional information that I was able to use to locate this record. You'll probably notice that the spelling of Nichol is entirely different, but the date of birth and the middle name are the same. Furthermore, this is an adjacent county, but you can see in the charges that Nichol is spelled with an O-L-E. But this time she was charged with driving without a license and another alcohol-related offense. And again, this is the second charge in just that county at the age of 19 years old. And wouldn't you know it, this case just goes away too, with no mention of probation or jail time. And no matter how you read this, somehow Nichol Kessinger appears to commit several crimes and then walks away from it without any repercussions whatsoever. You know, I can't put my finger on it, but that kind of sounds familiar. But I suppose it's starting to make a lot more sense why her father was present for her first two interviews. Because it would seem that he had already been through this a time or two or 12. But do you know what I find to be very disturbing about all of this information? Is that little more than a decade after these crimes, she would go on to become the mistress of a prolific family killer. A woman who seems to have a history of using multiple names and aliases, who is somehow able to get arrested multiple times and walk free every time of any responsibility or even probation.
She's another girl or woman that was never told no.
And what's even more hard for me to wrap my mind around is that law enforcement on August 15, 2018 requested her criminal background, which means they had every reason to approach their star witness with a certain level of caution. They had an obligation to ensure that they were going out of their way to verify her statements. Because if they had this information, did it not occur to anyone that someone with a history of criminal conduct might possibly have something to hide? Because Nichol's past...
They always look at the person's past history. They see if it's a one and done, or if it's a reoccurring problem.
Criminal history was going to come up through the inevitable background check that...
But sometimes they don't even look at that, because like that girl that died in the train that was stabbed, he got, what was it, 14 releases, and they just told they're not going to have a trial because he can't he can't be mentally stable. Like,
any good defense lawyer would have conducted prior to a jury trial, which is why the next few things you're about to learn is nothing less than shocking. During my investigation, I received credible information concerning Nichol's prior history. But I do want to be very clear. These are allegations that cannot be verified absent of the primary parties coming forward. And this is due to the fact that they allegedly occurred while Nichol was still a minor. But the allegations involve Nichol allegedly committing a violent crime with a knife when she was only 16 years old. A crime that once again she was allegedly arrested for, but was again dismissed. Unfortunately, because she was a minor,
it was a felony, man.
At the time, that means that the court records would be sealed. But the information that I received from this source had first-hand knowledge of the event.
All this sealing crap is like...
And while I cannot definitively confirm this information with court records, I was, however, able to find this public statement concerning the alleged encounter. And it's because of my knowledge of her criminal history that I found Detective Michael Prill's report especially intriguing, because it was the very first time any law enforcement agent associated with the Chris Watts investigation had written such unfavorable details that directly implicated Nichol Kessinger. Detective Prill's report exposed Nichol for...
I want to see coders or Kobach. I want to see his stuff. The notes that he took on Nichol.
Having profusely lied to law
Don't
enforcement.
let her down.
It revealed her damning Google searches, her clear obsession with Chris, her repeated and ongoing rendezvous with him, and a multitude of information that completely contradicted her entire narrative that she had been telling since day one. But even worse, the report showed evidence that there was now someone within law enforcement that had started to suspect that Nichol Kessinger was hiding something, and he made that suspicion clear throughout his entire report.
Since day one of Chris Watts, she's been hiding so much.
Investigators are certain that Chris Watts communicated with Nichol Kessinger a lot more than what was
so then let's figure it out.
reflected in his phone data. Y'all, take a look at this video.
If it isn't already completely evident, none of these were requested at any point. And when you have Detective Prill telling you that he is certain that your primary suspect was communicating with Nichol, your protected witness, outside of iMessage, something that she claims she never did, then why in the world would you not do everything in your power to ensure that you find where they were communicating from?
Exactly.
But I want to go back to the records that law enforcement requested from Nichol Kessinger's cell phone provider, because again, I want to show you that what law enforcement requested from Verizon did not provide the many people seem to think they received. As previously mentioned, one of the only things law enforcement would have received from Verizon that could have been used to track Nichol's location history were the RTT reports. Now, an RTT report stands for real-time tool, and let's read together exactly what this information from Verizon would provide law enforcement. The real-time tool report are derived solely from round-trip delay measurements. They are best estimates and are not related to any GPS measurement. But all measurements contained on this report are the best estimates available rather than precise location. As we can see in this picture, and as it states, the target phone can be found anywhere along the arc. It is important.
So when we see that, why are we not verifying the ping?
To remember that the information is never exact. So we can plainly see that law enforcement could not have been able to obtain detailed GPS location information that would have in any way definitively proved where Nichol was without a massive margin of error. Which leads me to my next big problem, because I have taken the time to read every word of the entire discovery packet, and I don't see any evidence that law enforcement verified when Nichol Kessinger arrived to work on August 13th, 2018.
They said she worked for an hour.
Apparently, there are some claims that have been made that law enforcement was able to speak with some of her coworkers that supported her morning arrival. So then where is her time card? You know, the one that Nichol discussed in the very first interview with the FBI and then mentions again during her second interview?
Sure did.
And I clocked out at 3 is what my time card says. That's what I was showing.
But she didn't say what time she left or showed up.
Mark the other day.
Isn't that interesting?
And then she later says that she worked for an hour.
Seeing how she only mentions her clock out time, but not her clock in time. I wonder why that is. Because here's an interesting fact. Anadarko has 400 security cameras, nearly 200 of which are outside in their parking lot. Cameras that span the entirety of their massive facility. Law enforcement could have easily checked those security feeds and proved when she arrived that morning. And by now, they could have easily provided a timestamp screenshot to the public that would have definitively proved her arrival on the morning of August 13th. Now, you might be wondering why that even matters. Well, again, for those of you who already have a beachfront villa on Watts Island, you already know the answer. And that's why in episode 3 of this series being released 2 weeks from today, I am going to break down all of Nichol Kessinger's movements based solely on the discovery, as well as her phone record history, and show you what it reveals. Because on the morning of August 13th,
It shows that somebody needs to be talked to.
2018 at 6:16 a.m., Nichol Kessinger's phone pinged in Frederick, Colorado, near the home of Chris Watts. Something that to this day, law enforcement has never been able to explain or account for.
They just tell us to shut up about it.
Nichol Kessinger and Chris Watts using a secret calculator app? Y'all watch this video.
The amount of information that you can extract from an iPhone, even back in 2018, would absolutely blow your mind. Your cell phone knows when you stand up, when you sit down. It knows the direction it's facing. It records when it's opened and for how long, what apps you use, the duration, time, and a competent, technologically savvy forensic department can easily extract all.
And you know that cell phone was sitting in her right butt pocket.
Of the data off your cell phone.
Or in her booby
including
place.
Whatever you may be trying to hide in connection to a criminal investigation. And the sad reality is that law enforcement never retrieved the hundreds, if not thousands, of missing text messages, pictures, and videos that Nichol Kessinger deleted. And the following:
they collected them, but they did not do anything with them after that.
Is one of the most important parts of Detective Prill's report. Listen very closely. I'm certain Watts communicated far more with Kessinger than what is reflected in his phone, perhaps facilitated through the secret calculator application. It became apparent he was receiving assorted nude images of Kessinger that she was
unfortunately, I've seen them.
Taking by herself and sending to Watts, which he then stashed in that application to prevent Shanann from ever seeing them. This report is quite literally telling us that law enforcement themselves, just 1 week before their investigation ended, did not know where Nichol and Chris were communicating. Primarily because
WhatsApp.
Both of their phones have incoming pictures,
Facebook, Skype,
that were not coming through their text message application. So I started digging through the discovery records, and when I found it, I almost couldn't believe what I was reading.
Right?
Throughout all of Nichol Kessinger's interactions with law enforcement, she was asked numerous times if she ever communicated with Chris using any other applications on her phone. And no matter who asked the question, she never once wavered from the statement that she never communicated with Chris through anything other than text messages and phone calls.
So all his photos were sent. There was no apps or anything else you used that you guys were sending. It was all just text messages.
Yeah.
Okay. So it'd be an attachment to a text that he sent you.
Pretty much. But everything is in the text and the phone call records.
But on August 17th, 2018, in the middle of one of her many nonsensical rants, Nichol craps the bed, putting her foot in her own mouth, accidentally telling Agent Kobach that she had spoken with Chris over Skype. And what do you think Agent Kobach said when she made this accidental, monumental admission? I'll take failing to do your job for 1,000, Alex. Because once again, if you guessed absolutely nothing at all, then you guessed correctly. Now, I really want to stress how important of a mistake this is. Nichol just told Agent Kobach that she communicated with Chris on an app that she has already said multiple times that she never did, and Agent Kobach has nothing to say? Now, I just happen to be very technologically proficient, so I am very familiar with how cell phone applications work. Also an app that you can send pictures and messages that very conveniently auto-delete themselves. You know, the kind of application that you could send pictures that could end up in your camera roll that would explain where these pictures were coming from. That kind of an app. Oh, and look, right here in the discovery file is proof that Chris was using Snapchat on July 20th, 2018.
Oh, Zowoki, you don't know what you're talking about. Chris never used Snapchat. Get the frick out of here. I love how the evidence is like right there, and then they're just like, what? That was never like proven. Like, okay, whatever.
Several weeks before he would commit his crimes. So again, simple question, where are the records? Where are the Snapchat records?
Something Nichol Kessinger said does not make a lot of sense. Y'all check this video out.
You tell me what's wrong with this sentence. Quote, The affair was only discovered after Kessinger contacted your affiant, stating that she had information regarding this investigation.
Boom.
Unquote. Did you catch it?
Yes.
Do you remember what we covered earlier in this video? Because on August 15th, 2018, law enforcement was contacted by Anadarko's security manager, Tony Husky, at 5 a.m. to inform them of the relationship between Chris Watts and Nichol Kessinger. Now, over the years,
and then she got wind.
I've worked for several major corporations, and typically when your company has notified law enforcement of your casual connection to a major crime, the internal HR, legal department, or some other agent of the company will contact you to tell you what has transpired. Because wouldn't you know it, several hours after Tony Husky contacted law enforcement, Nichol Kessinger would reach out to law enforcement for the very first time. So the affair wasn't at all only discovered when she contacted them. So their entire narrative is based in a foundational misrepresentation of the facts. And there's a very important reason why I'm pointing this out. Because throughout this entire discovery packet, all I see is law enforcement, and especially Agent Kobach, doing virtually everything in their power to ignore the innumerable times that she misled them, objectively lied to them, and then they make excuses for her despite the credible reason.
It's not a witch hunt. Don't worry about it, guys. Just believe us and you'll be fine. No, we're not looking at your Jedi tricks.
That they had to investigate her as a viable suspect. But there is still something very important that we need to discuss concerning Nichol Kessinger's questionable relationship to this crime and just how much law enforcement knew or should have known that there was a problem. On October 30th, 2018, Detective Michael Prill sent his infamous supplemental narrative that included a detailed report of the forensic data that they had extracted from Chris, Shanann, and Nichole's cell phones. The report was sent to the Weld County District Attorney's Office, and within that forensic analysis of the data was important information that has often been completely overlooked. In the report...
Oh no, they did a thorough sweep through the case. No.
He explains that during his review of the data extracted from Chris, Shanann, and Nichole's cell phones, that he learned vital information. Quote, Northern Colorado Forensic Laboratory did not possess the technology needed to perform physical data
So how is this thorough?
Extractions from Apple devices. The extracted data is not inclusive of all data stored amongst the assorted applications within a given device. Unquote. Allow me to explain how important that statement is to this case. One of the primary defenses that I've heard from the various people who have defended Nichol Kessinger claimed that law enforcement proved that she had no involvement whatsoever in these crimes.
No, they did not.
That law enforcement obtained evidence that demonstrated that she was not at all involved. But I believe that I can prove that the data they received could not have possibly been able to prove what they claim it did. In Detective Prill's report, he very plainly admits that the forensic laboratory did not have the ability to extract the data they needed. And
so how did they prove that she was innocent or guilty? They didn't. Nothing has been done on NK.
That even if they had extracted it, it would not include the individual applications on each of their phones. So I took the time to look at what law enforcement requested from Nichol Kessinger's cell phone provider, and here's what I found. What you are seeing are the record requests that law enforcement sent to Verizon. In this court order, you can plainly see that they requested Nichole's subscriber records, equipment records, call, text,
subscriber records, like what she subscribes to, or like streaming things, or just in general,
and data records, stored communication, and RTT record reports. Now, all of this sounds perfectly boring, but here's why this is important. Because out of the data that they requested, none of that provides a detailed GPS accounting for Nichol Kessinger's whereabouts. And for whatever reason that I simply cannot wrap my mind around, this forensic department dropped the ball in spectacular fashion by failing to use any of the available software that they had access to that could have extracted all of her GPS information, deleted text messages, pictures, and so much more.
We need to verify it, and they didn't even have the technology to do it.
Kessinger told Chris Watts to delete everything. Watch this video.
So Tuesday, after that conversation, I told him, I told him to delete his text because I knew he was like going crazy texting me.
And then for some strange reason that we are supposed to believe is not at all concerning and is just a coincidence, her best friend Charlotte also deleted her entire conversation history with Nichol. A conversation that included a picture that she sent of Chris, as well as a discussion about him. There is no logical explanation for why she chose to delete vital records that was and still is evidence in that investigation, especially because of when she deleted them. On August 14th, 2018, Nichol was already well aware of law enforcement's investigation into what was a direly urgent missing persons case at that moment in time. Chris had already informed Nichol that his entire family was gone. She knew that she had important evidence from him on her phone that would show detailed information about his whereabouts that morning, especially in light of the Prove It text messages and screenshots he sent from Survey 319 on Monday night. At 12:08 p.m. on Tuesday, August 14th, 2018, Nichol Kessinger spent nearly 4 entire hours searching Google for stories related to Chris, Shanann, and news accounts concerning Shanann's disappearance. Nichol would eventually leave work early, and at 5 p.m., she would begin searching Google again, but this time for something far more specific. This just happens to be the same day that Nichol deletes all of her cell phone records, text messages, and pictures related to Chris, and then tries to destroy her SIM card. No reasonable person would see those Google searches and
Colton, or not Colton, I'm thinking about my son. They're like, Zowoki, they weren't trying, she wasn't trying to break her SIM card. Where are you coming up with this stuff? I'm not making this up, dude. Like, it's been here. It's just been overlooked. And people are like, you're spreading lies. Huh?
come to the conclusion that there wasn't a concerted effort to hide something from law enforcement, because I again would like to remind you that Nichol was already well aware of the gravity of this situation, and instead of preserving evidence that she knew law enforcement would need, she chose to delete all of it. Which is why during Nichole's second interview with Agent Kobach, when the issue of her deleting
she had her daddy there,
all of her phone records came up, I was very interested to see how he would handle such a problematic issue.
What did that cause you to do with your phone, though?
I was just so mad at him, and so I just deleted everything.
Oh, what? When I deleted those? I was just kind of grossed out by him, to be honest with you. I was just like, I don't know what's going on right now, but you just lied to me, and I don't want to see this come over my phone anymore. So I removed it.
The information was not destroyed because there was anything in there that would be harmful to you or potentially to Chris at this point, but harmful to you in particular. That's not why you did it.
No.
You did it out of...
But instead of asking her to explain her actions, asking probing questions, he makes excuses for her, lobbing an underhanded softball.
Kobach literally, like, starts the whole conversation and the beginning paragraph and half of the middle of the body, and then she gets somewhat the summarized conclusion. And then you guys take that and be like, oh yeah, she answered everything. No, she was like directed in the way to make it look non-her, and they just went with it.
By telling her what to say so that her deletion of these vital records doesn't appear incriminating. Legally speaking, do you know what kind of crime deleting text messages is in relation to a homicide investigation? It's called obstruction of justice. It's called destruction of evidence, all of which are crimes. And yet for some reason, from the moment that Nichol Kessinger contacted law enforcement, they considered her a protected witness long before they knew if she had any involvement in the crime. And their bias towards her is something that you can see throughout the entirety of the discovery file. And evidence of that bias is everywhere, even in their own narrative that you can see within the court-ordered records requests. Part of the legal process whenever law enforcement needs to obtain records from a cell phone provider is to issue a court-ordered request for production of records. The request itself is often an affidavit that outlines the legal basis for why the court order was granted by a municipal judge. And in their affidavit is a foundational lie that I simply cannot wrap my mind around. As you can see in their court order request for records, law enforcement is providing the cell phone company their affidavit and description of the events. Now pause the video and in the comments section, you tell me what's wrong with this sentence.
Well, after years of hiding, Nichol
I can tell you what's wrong with the whole person.
Kessinger, the mistress of Chris Watts, has been spotted at a funeral. And because of this, Nichol has been in the media again. And I just wanted to remind everyone of the shady things that she did after the unaliving of Shanann Watts and her children. Like the fact that she deleted all communication she had with Chris Watts and even tried to destroy her SIM card before handing her phone over to police. She also claimed that she had no idea that Shanann was pregnant, and she thought that Chris and Shanann were on the brink of divorce, even though she was constantly on Shanann's Facebook page where Shanann talked about her pregnancy and there was no indication that her and Chris were getting a divorce. She also had no alibi for the night of the unalivings, and her phone pinged from a tower that was just 25 miles away from the Watts home at the time of the unaliving. Neighbors also stated that they saw a truck matching Nichole's at the Watts house the night of the unaliving. There's also security footage that people swear they can see a woman with a ponytail walking to Chris Watts' truck when he was loading up his family. There was a 111-minute phone call between Nichol and Chris the night of the unalivings, and she says that she has no idea what they talked about. She can't remember. She was searching up Amber Fry's
everything that's important, she doesn't remember.
Net worth and how much she could make off of writing a book for being Chris's mistress. Then after the trial and everything with this case was closed, Nichol completely deleted her social medias. She basically fell off the face of the planet until this funeral.
Okay guys, I've got to talk to you about Nichol Kessinger. I went through 2,000 pages of discovery and over 4 hours of interrogation footage, and I went through all of her cell phone records. And guess what I found out? On the morning of the murders at 6:16 a.m., her phone pinged at the tower near Chris Watts' house. Specifically, it was the Frederick Tower. Now, originally people tried to explain this away, saying that it wasn't really reliable and that cell phones could ping at any tower. But when I went through 90 days of her phone history, it told a very different story. You see, every time she admitted
she was there, every time that she admitted that she was there, her phone pinged in Frederick, Colorado. But the day of the murders, I was with my friend Jim. Oh, can we talk to Jim? Leave Jim alone! Are you effing kidding me? And they're like, okay. You see that? Yeah. Red flag galore. Flipping ridiculous.
To being at Chris Watts' house during the affair, her phone would ping that day in Frederick. It never ever pinged in Frederick any other time than when she had admitted to being at Chris's house.
Exactly.
Now what's also interesting is that immediately after Shanann disappeared, she and Chris had a ton of different phone exchanges, but she deleted all of the call logs right after, like immediately after they spoke. Which I'm just gonna ask the question, if you have nothing to hide, why are you deleting your phone history?
Exactly.
Why are you also deleting your Google searches that were, can cops trace cell phones? Can cops recover text messages? How long do cell phone providers keep your text messages? And also, why did she not clock into work that afternoon, the day of the murders, until 3 p.m.? There is so much.
And why wasn't it looked at, verified? None of it.
Much more shady stuff, guys, when I went through her phone history, her call logs, all of these things, and her whereabouts and her footprint that morning. So I'm breaking it all down for you on the podcast over on Serialously.
Breaking news as Chris Watts just wrote a letter from prison saying that his mistress, Nichol Kessinger, was directly involved in the unaliving of his wife and 2 kids, Shanann, Bella, and Cece. I mean, this is huge. Once he told her he unalived Shanann, she said you might as well unalive Bella and Cece as well. This is one of many letters that Chris Watts wrote in prison that you can pause and read, and in it, he describes Nichol Kessinger as Jezebel and says that she convinced him to do what he did to his family. And not only that, but he says she was directly involved in the unalivings. I mean, she was there that morning. She helped conceal the evidence, helped put the girls in the oil tanks. I mean, he is for the first time giving a full confession that she had a hand in this and that she should get in trouble too. He says things like this, and this, and he said up until now he didn't say anything because he felt bad and didn't want her to get in trouble. But his poor family deserves justice, and that means that everyone that had a hand in this should face the consequences, and I'll keep you guys updated with that.
What did you say your name was again?
Dan Boyle with the Weld County District Attorney's Office.
Yeah, I was given this number about the Chris Watts case that happened back in 2018. I was in prison with Chris twice at Dodge. And over the time that I spent with him, he confided in me, and he said that his mistress was still in contact with him, and that she was involved in the murders of his family, and that she was never investigated, and he was trying to protect her.
I'm just writing this down.
Okay.
How was she in contact with them? Letters or phone?
Letters.
Letters?
Yeah. They were in constant communication.
And did they verify this? Absolutely not.
You say what her involvement was?
She killed the girls, and he killed Shanann. And,
she did all 3 of them.
No, he killed his wife, and she killed his daughters because they felt that since Cece and Celeste, or Bella and Cece was Chris's kids, that he would have a harder time to kill them. So that's why she was the one that killed the little girls, and he killed Shanann.
How did you say how she killed him?
Yeah, she smothered them, and he strangled Shanann.
How long ago was this when he told you this?
I'm sorry?
How long ago was this when he told you this?
Well, I just got out in February, and I got to Dodge this last time in September. And it was that time that he told me that he was in contact with her and told me the roles that she played, and that she killed the girls and he killed Shanann, and that he was protecting her so she wouldn't go to prison.
Okay. Okay. Well, I will get this to the person that needs to know. And is this a good number to call you back? We need to talk to you again?
Yeah, that's fine. Do you know what's going to happen, though, with it?
No, I mean, I have no idea yet.
Okay. Yeah, can you just, if anybody needs to call me, they can call me at this number.
Okay. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
It looks like 2 different people, man. The stride.
Anything different over the last, 2 days, 3 days? Odd vehicles, odd noises, odd lights?
There was a truck out here yesterday. In fact, that's why I thought you were here yesterday. Maybe someone complained about that I hadn't seen before.
What type of truck?
It was kind of almost a steel gray. Don't ask me.
Okay.
Year. But that was late afternoon. The dad has a great big truck, and it's gray.
There was a smaller truck.
But, this is This is unusual, very quiet neighborhood.
I think Shanann walked in on Chris and Nichol in bed when she got home from that business trip. Nicole's phone pinged near
Down in the basement?
the Watts residence at like 6:15.
He puts the girls to bed upstairs in their rooms. He goes downstairs to the basement. Nicole's down there. Boom.
6 a.m. Like, what if she was in the house the entire time? And from that time that Shanann got home until her phone pinged, either it was off or she never plugged it in and charged it and the phone died, and they were planning on how to dispose of these bodies. I mean, think about it. Things would escalate. They get out of hand. Chris ends up, or Nichol ends up unaliving Shanann. The kids witness it. They're obviously dealt with, unfortunately, in that manner. But then that would explain the frantic deleting of search histories and
Exactly.
Cops track text messages.
I love that there's other people that understand me, or are you the ones that know that there is BS in this?
That Nichol did. And it also would explain the site on where the bodies were chosen to be disposed of. Did you guys know that Nichol actually was the geologist for the same company that Chris worked at, and that specific site was one of her locations?
Yes. Yes.
Oh man, you can hear it. That's bro, you can hear it.
On the following night, neighbors informed the police that the woman had been seen and recorded by CCTV camera entering the house of the Watts family. What is pretty unexplainable though is the fact that she apparently has never left the house afterwards. Also, the squad noticed that the lights in the garage had been turned on.
The mystery woman that goes in but never leaves.
Frederick Police Department, anybody in the house? Frederick Police Department, anybody in the house, make yourself known!
Right after that charming introduction, the team makes their way in to investigate what was going on in this house. They split up to cover more ground.
This dude is seeing things in the kitchen.
While exploring, they capture several inexplicable occurrences.
I heard that.
The next we see is that members of the squad are making their way upstairs to check for anybody in the building. Some viewers claim that they see a figure peeking out behind one of the policemen. Let me know if you see anything.
I'm telling you, there's stuff. Oh. I don't know. Oh no. I'm cracking my neck. I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe it's his leg.
Possibly the shadow of Bella.
I don't know.
While this officer is guarding the dining area, a shadow seems to have moved quickly from the right to the left. Other viewers also state that they could see a shadow on the chair and unusual activity on the right.
Like he's checking. He's seeing things. And I'm seeing things. It looks like somebody's sitting in the chair.
What's your opinion?
I don't know. I don't know.
It appears that the man also saw something, but who knows? Thank you so much for watching. See you all next time, and stay frosty.
It's super creepy.
Yes.
Oh, I think it's the dolls.
Go in there and step on that little blue thing and see if that's where that noise came.
Yeah, it sounded like a kid toy.
It might. It sort of sounds like it.
Something. I heard it.
Did you hear it?
I did.
It sounded like a kid giggling or something, didn't it? Or a kid.
It did.
Then she can't replicate it.
Because all he did was go straight in there. That was strange. Well, we'll make a note of that.
I heard it. I definitely heard the same thing you did.
Yeah, and then he just sort of.
The unit enters, and it doesn't take long for the person with the body cam to capture the first really unusual thing.
Smells like cleaning.
Some people claim that one of the daughters can be seen up the stairs while the search team makes their entrance.
Or there's like somebody in the reflection over here.
To the living room. Let's watch that again.
Smells like cleaning, doesn't it?
I think it's just the way that it kind of makes an image. I don't know.
I can't say for certain if this is truly an apparition, but it is definitely possible. What do you think? At this point we can hear an EVP, which sounds pretty similar to Get Out Alive. Followed by an unknown female voice saying no.
I thought that was Dieter.
Right after this capture, it appears that Shanann can be seen in the mirror.
I think it's just this woman right here, this officer, but that's just me.
One could think that the apparition in the mirror is taking a picture with their iPhone. Ironically, Shanann owned an iPhone, which she had left in the house.
I think it's just reflection.
But it could also be the officer's reflection.
This, I think, is a long shot, but those EVPs, those...
We can't be 100% certain here.
Her phone's here?
think that's where Nicole knew
Does she work?
completely.
Yeah, she works from home.
She
from
was
home.
dead.
She works Missing to Lifeline.
Next, the two officers make it into a closet, which on further inspection appears to be a wardrobe in one of the bedrooms. Listen closely as a faint giggle is being captured in the background.
We already heard that one.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. What in the world is that? Wow.
Oh. Excuse me, what the frick is that? What the fudge?
I truly believe that Chris.
Hold up. I don't think I've ever seen this. Bro. What the actual F?
I truly believe that Chris and Nichol Kessinger did this shit together.
Yeah, girl, say it loud, say it
just
proud.
Allegedly, what I believe, it's never been proven, but that girl is planning out spiritual reparations. She looks terrible, but whatever. What makes my little black heart smile and my hind legs just wiggle is that he's still receiving spiritual reparations after he's fucking around and finding out his house is haunted, he's being haunted, and at the end of the day, they not playing with him. Not only his daughters, his wife, spirit is not playing about them either. And that's why we hear shit like this. A lot of this was put into the first video, but I don't think y'all was hearing me loud enough. When I tell y'all do good and be good, it's because I really mean it. That man had a demon on him, a succubus, incubus energy that was causing him to, and Nichol Kessinger, in my opinion only, allegedly, none of this is true, it's just me and I think she had one on her too. Because I truly believe she helped Chris. I do. And it's not just because of these TikToks. If I put all the TikToks that I've watched into this video, we'd be here 3 hours.
Oh,
I truly believe that
for days
she is just as guilty and should be in jail. And Chris now is waking up and talking about how his mistress helped him. This area, this house, is haunted. It's haunted. And it's haunted by the spirit of Shanann, Bella, Cece, because this is their home. This is where spirit is going to go back. That's the most familiar place to spirit. Okay? So it doesn't surprise me that we're hearing their voices. We are experiencing them being there. It's their fucking house. God bless it. That is all for today, YouTube. And if you are interested in me covering a person, place, thing, topic, comment it down below, or you can send me an email or tag me on Instagram.
Definitely, a lot of this just screams reopen, reinvestigate, reanalyze. Let's bring her in. Like, it just screams all that and just more. And I just, oh my gosh, like, I don't think I've wanted something so much more than to have Nichol Kessinger investigated. I'd rather her be investigated than winning the Powerball. I would have more satisfaction to be investigated properly and found to be proven innocent, to tell us if we're right or wrong. And it's upsetting because we can't. Because right now they don't want to even touch it. And that's what irks me the most. I hope you guys have a great day. Comment your guys' thoughts, of course, down below. Share with your friends, subscribe, and then don't forget to go over this lovely lady's channel. Go give her some love. Check out her channel, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. God bless. Keep nerding on, and we will see you guys in the next one. Peace.